Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here, and today, August 1st, 2023, it has officially been announced by Cedar Point, America's roller coaster, that Top Thrill 2 will be opening in 2024. Its official announcement season is here, August, the month of roller coaster day, and plenty of announcements all across the US in terms of new rides, attractions, and roller coasters has begun. As at 2 a.m. Pacific time today, I'm glad I was awake, Cedar Point officially announced that Top Thrill 2 will be the official replacement for Top Thrill Dragster. Now, if you did not know what Top Thrill Dragster was, it was an Intamin roller coaster that opened in the early 2000s and took the height and speed record with a 420-foot top hat as well as a 120-mile-an-hour hydraulic launch. Now, this ride has had quite the troubled history with plenty of downtime throughout its years, and most recently officially closing and never reopening as Top Thrill Dragster in 2021. It sat completely dormant in 2022, and now in 2023 it's official after seeing months and months of work with new footers, new track going in, as well as signs of a new magnetic launch system with a brand new company, Zamperla. Top Thrill 2 is happening. What's the differences, you might ask? Well, let's talk about Top Thrill Dragster and how that ride originally went. You get right out of the station, stop for a second, the lights turn green, and you vault all the way to 120 miles an hour before going all the way up 420 feet in the sky before twisting downwards in a 270-degree roll all the way towards the ground into the brake run. It only lasted 17 seconds, whereas now, with Top Thrill 2, which we'll get to my thoughts on that name in a second, launches you not once, not two times, but three times. The first of which will send you forward at 74 miles an hour before you end up getting a rollback on every single ride about halfway up the top hat before getting launched in the second launch to 101 miles an hour up a 420-foot vertical spike. This is all before you plummet towards the ground yet again with a third and final launch at the original 120 miles an hour to get you all the way up to 420 feet in the air before you plummet down and get into that finish line yet again. So not the craziest changes to Top Thrill Dragster as it officially reopens as Top Thrill 2 in 2024. As I mentioned previously, this redo is being done by the company named Zamperla, and this ride was originally opened by Intamin. So that also means that a brand new train system with new state-of-the-art lap bars that go over your head will be used. The original hydraulic launch system is being replaced with a linear synchronous motor launch, which is commonly used on other Intamin rides, such as the record-holding Pantheon, which currently stands as the world's fastest multi-launch coaster, getting up to a speed of 72 miles an hour. But of course, Top Thrill 2 is going to rip that record completely out of its hands. Now let's talk about my thoughts on this real quick. Of course, the hype for this redo has been overblown completely, at least in my view. If you've seen my latest podcast with Mario from Mostly Coasters, the Loopy Dudes podcast, you would know that. Make sure to check it out if you haven't, by the way. There were plenty of people speculating, especially since this is Cedar Point, that this spike that would be appearing would be 500 plus feet tall or beyond vertical or literally anything except what it is now. And I gotta say, even with it only being 420 feet tall and not being beyond vertical, I gotta say this is going to be a fantastic addition to the original Top Thrill Dragster format, as it just extends that ride time by double and maybe even triple, which I think is the biggest win that this redo does. I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of Top Thrill Dragster with my one experience on the ride because of the absolutely insane amount of downtime that it experienced, but I did enjoy that 17-second thrill rush. This, however, might not be great in terms of just the single launch, but man, the duration is going to make a heck of a difference for me, and I can't wait to check it out. Now, talking about the theme and the name real quick, I gotta say I am not a fan whatsoever. I understand they're trying to keep the legacy of Top Thrill Dragster while making a change, but Top Thrill 2, that has got to be one of the weirdest and lackluster names I could think of. At least when Mean Streak was redone, it had a more powerful name in Steel Vengeance. That sounds pretty dang cool if you ask me, although a little awkward. This just feels a little lazy, to say the least. Heck, I would have liked the name Top Thrill better than Top Thrill 2. I'm really not a big fan of this name. Something else I'm not exactly decided on though, however, is the new paint scheme, which is taking out all of the yellow that was all over the main support structure of this ride originally and replacing it with gray. Thankfully, we do now see in the renderings that there are little red stripes left with the white and gray that is being put onto this ride, which I will say I was worried about it becoming the most plainly painted coaster in the park, but I am glad to see at least a little bit of color on the ride. Now, at least from what I can find, there's not too many other details at the moment, but I gotta say, I'm pretty excited. And while I'm not the most excited about the aesthetics as well as the name, I do think the ride experience should be better overall, at least in my opinion. I know there's going to be a lot of original Top Thrill Dragster fans that are going to be heartbroken with the loss of that hydraulic launch, but sometimes change is needed, especially when the ride is down a majority of the time. It should be very interesting to see how Zamperla deals with such a large renovation, especially since they haven't done such, especially at this level before. And I think the tallest coaster they've ever built is not even 150 feet tall. So it's going to be interesting to see their track and their support system going up 420 feet in the air. And even more so with this brand new train design, which definitely seems to look very similar to the new Mach Rides launch coaster trains, as well as those Intamin new gen Blitz trains, seen on rides such as Manta at SeaWorld San Diego, and of course, speaking of Intamin, Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. With all that said though, I'm curious, what do you guys think of Top Thrill 2? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments. I would really appreciate it. And of course, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. I will admit we probably won't have many updates on this coaster, but we will be talking about all the brand new announcements across the US in the next couple of weeks, as well as putting out plenty of ride reviews, vlogs, and updates from Southern California and more. So I'd really appreciate it if you stopped in and pressed that big red button. With that all said though, I want to say thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. And until next time, we'll see you on the next ride.